Hey guys, if you like Eloquence, you're going to like today's episode. Also, we're diving into the inbox. Go for it, Shaun Preece.
This is Double Tap, where blind people talk tech. Here's Stephen Scott and Shaun Preece.
I'm going to do it again. Hello, Shaun Preece. Oh,
I love it. Hello. You okay, Stephen?
I'm good. I'm feeling good for Tuesday. It is nice to be here, although at my age, it's nice to be anywhere.
Oh,
thank you.
Start off with an old joke. Well done.
It's always nice to kick off with a classic, isn't it? Listen, we've got some big news coming up very shortly. But you know what? I think the bigger news of the day is that we're going to be diving into the inbox, as I was saying earlier. And it's going to be all Laura all the time.
Oh, where's she been?
Well, she's not been too well.
Oh, no. Oh.
She's had a little bit of the and a little bit of the old. So, yeah, it's not been fun.
Okay, not too much information. Sorry, Laura.
Sorry, I don't want to get too medical.
It's great to have Laura back. That's
always nice to have Laura here. Yeah, she wasn't feeling too great. She has children, so of course she's forever sick.
Yes, or knits. Yeah.
I don't think knits is that still a thing anymore? Is that a thing now? Is that still a thing?
Of course it is. Yes.
Doesn't sound right. That sounds like something from the 1970s.
That's rickets.
Rickets. Goodness me.
Anyway, this is a horrible way to welcome Laura back.
Yeah, welcome back, Laura. And glad you're feeling well. But yes, we're going to dive into those emails shortly. But some news first off.
Oh, no. Double Tap News.
Oh, this is good. Good news. Eloquence is making its way back to Android.
What? Where did it go?
Sorry. Went away.
What? Okay. Yeah. I don't remember this. Refresh me.
Well, there is a story to this. Code Factory are bringing Eloquence back to Android. Not quite available yet. It's under the heading of coming soon. Code Factory published this on their website. We got 11 labs to read it.
After more than 5 years, Eloquence, the legendary text-to-speech voice loved by blind and visually impaired users around the world, is returning to the Google Play Store. Many of you will remember Eloquence for its incredible speed and clarity, even at very high speech rates. It's not the most natural or human voice, but that's exactly what makes it so effective. Over the past few years, Eloquence unfortunately stopped working on newer Android versions because it was built as a 32-bit app. As Android evolved, maintaining compatibility became impossible. But we've heard you, and we made the effort to port and rebuild Eloquence as a 64-bit app, ready for today's Android devices. And here's some more good news to the ones that might have missed their chance back in the days to purchase the product, but are now still using an Android device running on 32 bits, Android 7 or above. The new version also includes 32-bit support, so even users on older Android devices can enjoy the new Eloquence through the same package. This has been a true labor of love for our small team. We are not a big company with endless resources. We are a small, passionate group dedicated to keeping accessibility technology alive and sustainable. That's why the new Eloquence 64-bit will be available through a subscription model. Back in 2014 to 2015, one-time purchases were the norm, but they came with challenges. Technology changes quickly, and many users understandably expect a one-time purchase to last forever. Unfortunately, that's just not possible in today's fast-moving Android ecosystem. By offering Eloquence as a subscription, we can keep it updated and compatible with new Android versions, ensure we can afford to maintain and improve it long-term, avoid future disappointments when platforms evolve again. We know some of you purchased Eloquence in the past. The last versions were sold up until 2019. Those purchases remain yours. You can still use them if they work on your device. However, since this is a completely new 64-bit rebuild, older purchases can't be upgraded directly. Stay tuned for the official relaunch on the Google Play Store, coming soon.
So that statement from Code Factory, read by 11 Labs. Well done to 11 Labs for doing that, and thank goodness it exists. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have read that one out. Me trying to read it line by line. But yeah, I mean, thoughts on that? So it's coming back as a subscription. That may turn a few heads, I imagine.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit shocked. I'll be honest with you. On subscription, Look, we've had this debate so many times, and as they mentioned there in the announcement, of course, for maintenance and making sure it's compatible with every version of the OS, every major update, making sure it still runs. I understand that, but we're talking about Eloquence here. How many new features are going to be popping up on Eloquence? It's just been around for the longest time before it went away, and how many updates did it have? I'm not convinced, is what I'm saying. Isn't this just sort of set it and forget it almost? How much work is going into keeping it operational on Android? When's the next update going to come along that breaks it? I'm not entirely convinced it's,
Well, these are good questions that Code Factory need to answer, I think, because you're right. I mean, I feel I wouldn't be against buying an update if I wanted to down the line.
Yes.
So if they said to us, okay, so Stephen, you can have Eloquence on Android. It's going to cost you X amount of dollars, say $50, right? You pay $50, whatever it costs, I don't know. But let's say it's $50. You pay your money, and that's it. You've got it. And then in a couple of years' time, they say, look, we really need to update this to keep it fresh, to make sure it's working.
Yep.
Can you give us another $50 type thing? I'd be kind of okay with that then, because I could see the value in it. But the idea of paying for it on repeat, I just feel everything is becoming subscription. Everything. I mean, I was telling you this the other day, I think, on the show, that someone had bought a car. I saw this on TikTok. Someone had bought a car and they wanted to stream music from their phone to the Bluetooth connection in the car. And it said on the dashboard, you've got to subscribe to that feature.
Yeah.
They wanted to use a remote control, the car key fob. They wanted to use it to remote start the car. That was a premium feature they had to pay a subscription for. It's getting down to the macro level when it comes to these subscriptions now. And I think people are going to get turned off from this. I mean, look, again, it's a choice. No one has to do it. I know a lot of people like Eloquence. They may well have found an alternative on Android they're happy with. But, is a subscription model going to take off? I don't know. I mean, and then it's trying to balance that up with the development team. They say they're a small team, which they are, trying to keep these things going.
And they took the time to make this happen.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't have to. So, of course, that nothing's done for free. I totally understand
and it shouldn't be either.
The subscription model, it's a debate we can have. The other thing I'm not too sure about is if you bought it previously. I think that you deserve something, some sort of discount if you bought it previously, or they're arguing
it's a new product in a sense, right? I know.
I'm sorry, it's not.
I know what you're saying, because it's like, well, it's just a voice, right? It's the same voice ultimately coming out of your Android phone. But the back end of that is a new product. They've had to rewrite everything.
I totally understand. A 64-bit version is different from the 32-bit version. It may have been, totally rewritten from the ground up. I don't think so, but I'm not a coder. I mean, there's still a lot of work, whichever way you look at it, to rebuild it or recompile it to 64-bit. I get that, but I'm sorry, it just feels like you've bought that Eloquence in good faith, and then suddenly, well, that one doesn't work anymore. You're going to have to subscribe to a new one. It just feels like almost as a customer-facing gesture, it should be, well, if you did buy the old one, hey, here's, your first 3 months free, or whatever it may be. I don't know. Again, business decisions, but I'm just not sure of the look of that. But some people, like yourself, absolutely love Eloquence and say, I will pay to use it, I suppose.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I'll be honest, there were versions kicking around that, once essentially Code Factory had given up on it, there were versions that were haunting the internet to be able to get access to Eloquence on there. That's now no longer working. You can't use that now, it would appear. So, there's that. It's a really difficult one. It's a difficult one because on one hand, clearly there's a demand for it because they've built it.
Well, if there is, then the market will decide. If people think this is absolutely fine and reasonable, then of course, look, I'm coming at this as someone, as you probably guessed from the intro, I'm not really into Eloquence, right? I don't like it. I don't like the sound of it, and it's kind of great.
You're not alone.
So I'm not interested in this. So from that point of view, I'm thinking, why would I pay? But, I bought Vocalizer for a point. Well, it's not called that now. What's it called? Technoflonopia or whatever it's called. But if that suddenly came around and said, okay, now that's a subscription, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Subscribing to a voice? I think I would just look for whatever was free.
This is what I mean about the kind of macro level. Then in saying that, I mean, I just bought a voice for NVDA, one of those Blast Bay voices. I think it was Libby that I bought. And I use that all the time. That's a great voice. Yeah, something like that, yeah. And, if I was to buy it on subscription, would I?
No.
Probably not. I mean, I like it, but you know what? I'll get used to Microsoft Zoe or Zira or whatever one again.
Exactly.
I'll just get on with it. I don't know. It's difficult. I mean, the other side of this is, when you look at Eloquence on other devices, I'm a bit confused as to how this is possible, that it's essentially going to become a subscription voice on Android, yet it's available on iOS, it's available on Mac, it's available through JAWS on Windows. I don't know if there's still an NVDA add-on. That was Code Factory, wasn't it? That did the
honestly,
NVDA version.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know
I don't think
what's
that's
the score
about anymore.
with Eloquence. Is this basically open source? Is this licensed and anyone can do whatever they want with it?
Because why hasn't Google implemented it? This is what I don't understand. If it's so popular,
Because it sounds awful. Sorry.
No. But aside, okay, but forget that, right? People obviously like it. I like it. I do really like it. If it's so popular, and if it was possible, couldn't Google license it or pay Code Factory to do it, and then that takes the onus off us to pay? Because I feel paying for a specific function of your screen reader, which you're not paying for. You're not paying for Talkback, right?
Yeah, but you don't
feels
have
a bit
to.
weird. No, you don't have to. Of course
you
you
can use
don't.
the Google text-to-speech, right?
But if you really want to, you have to. That's the thing. So I don't know how.
Yeah, but that's a choice then. It's up to you if you want to subscribe. If you want to pay your money because you really want it, then that's the whole point. That's how business works, right?
I just wonder if it would be smarter.
demand.
Would there be a smarter approach in saying, okay, look, maybe you pay a higher fee up front for that voice. So let's say it was $50, and you say, well, actually, if we paid $100 for that fee, then for that price, that's it. You don't have to pay a subscription anymore, and essentially that's it. Or have we got into the habit? Because this is the thing. This is another side of this. I often wonder if companies are getting to that way of thinking, well, everyone else is turning subscription, so we'll just do that, even when perhaps there might not be the same need. And will they make as much money doing it that way? I mean, in theory, yes, because more people are more likely to pay less per month than pay a huge upfront.
Huge?
Whatever huge is. I mean, it could be talking. If we were talking $1 a month or something, I'd be like, okay, fine, whatever, don't care.
I agree.
I don't think it's going to be that, and I just think if it's any more than $5 a month.
That's the magic number.
Yeah, so what is the number, right?
Yeah.
I think for a voice on my screen reader, if you were paying more than $5 a month, that might feel a bit. We'll see what the pricing is. There's no detail on that yet, and we will, of course, keep up to date with that. But
I don't want to come across as negative. Apart from
I think
saying
it's great.
I don't like Eloquence.
It's great. Well, you don't like the voice. I do like the voice. I'm glad it's coming back to Android.
So are you
going to
subscribe?
Again, it depends on the price. If it's below $5 a month, I would consider it. Yes.
That seems fair enough. Yeah, I'm thinking around $2, $2.99, something like that. Probably people would go for it. So
I've been playing a lot with that Google Pixel phone. So Google, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Google sent me a Google Pixel 10 Pro, which is a really nice phone.
Kept that secret. Okay.
Oh, I didn't want to say too much on it because I know people love to jump on me and say, "Oh, do a review." And again, it's that thing of, but what do you want to know? Because I can tell you it's a phone and it's got Android on it, and I can tell you it's so much faster than last year's phone. But, what else do you want to know? So this is why I put it out to you guys to say, well, you ask me the questions. So like Sean's got his Apple Watch Series 11. Yeah, we can tell you about the stats and the figures and the features, but you can get that from anywhere. What I want to know is, I want to know what you guys want to know. What do you want us to test on it? But the Google Pixel 10 Pro is the first Pixel phone, if I'm honest, where I'm actually feeling like I could switch to this. I could actually move over to this. I am liking this phone. It feels very similar to me in terms of just feel like an iPhone 16. It's got that kind of size, that kind of feel, that kind of weight and style. Very, very similar. And it's just a really nice experience. And there was an update that came in on Talkback 16.1, which is a feature called Reduce Delay. Now, you might think to yourself, I know, because it's not exactly one of the sexiest features. It's not like image descriptions or Ask Gemini, which they've brought in as well. You can ask Gemini to get further descriptions on images. Really nicely built in, beautifully built into the OS. I've got to say, Apple, just, if you're going to do anything this year or next year when it comes to Global Accessibility Awareness Day, bring this in. Get this on the iPhone. Because honestly, that whole ability to get image descriptions directly, question those images, really good. Like, our little dog goes off to doggy daycare. He goes off, and there he goes, all happy in the morning with a biscuit in his mouth, and yeah, it's all very beautiful. And off he goes to daycare, and the daycare people send us pictures, and my wife loves to share the pictures with me, and I can then throw them straight into, at the moment on iPhone, it's Be My Eyes, but I'd like to use the Gemini description for it, because I can drill into it the same way you can with Be My AI, of course, as well.
Yeah, but it's baked into the OS, right? That's the whole point.
Right there.
It's just more convenient.
Yeah, it's really, really nicely done. And this new reduced delay feature, which might sound a little boring, actually has made this a much more interesting proposition. Because one of the challenges I've faced when using Pixels in the past, and Android generally, is responsiveness. When you swipe, sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's quite there. It feels like it's thinking about it. It sometimes doesn't respond. And reduced delay seems to have solved a lot of this. Basically, what you're able to do is reduce the amount of time that you get a reaction from touching the screen. Now, in some cases, some Android phones, I should say, are actually very responsive. But it's when you swipe, it feels like your fingers are on a skating rink, and it just doesn't feel like you've kind of got control. That reduced delay feature has really improved that, because that responsiveness has increased dramatically. You can get it down to 0.15 of a second in terms of responsiveness, which is up at almost 0.5 by default. So you can really reduce that delay time. Now, this is a feature that's been in iPhone for a while. You can do this with the double tap options as well. You can reduce delay or even increase delay depending on what you need. And of course, this is built for different functionalities, different people with different motor conditions as well. You can specify and be a lot more customizable about your delay settings. Really important to play with that if you are having trouble with double tapping.
Well, usually it's give me more time to double tap.
That's right. And this does
by the time I
reduce
do the second tap.
This can be a little bit of a challenge with double tap, because by reducing that delay, it makes it a little bit harder to do the double tap. Although, again, I haven't really had a major issue with it. And I'm someone who does struggle with the double tapping gesture. So by reducing everything down, I have not had an issue. In fact, I'd say the phone, more generally, I hate to say this to Android people because they will not like me for saying this, but it's more iPhone now in terms of responsiveness than I've ever had it before. So this could be just the Pixel 10 Pro power thing inside. I don't know. But, we'll try it on some of the other devices once I get 16.1 on there. And if you do have an Android phone that isn't a top of the line and you've got Talkback 16.1, play around with those reduced delay settings and see if it makes any difference to you. But the big one for me, the big thing is keyboard. One thing I could never get used to with an Android phone was the keyboard. I always wanted to get that direct touch typing experience that you get with an iPhone keyboard, where you can literally type. Even though you're typing with VoiceOver on, you can type quickly. I mean, I say quickly as you can type, but you could almost, if you can, touch type on that keyboard. That was something that was never particularly easy to do on an Android keyboard. That was a nightmare until now. So if you have it set, now let me get this right, you have to set it to the third option in the list, which I think is find the key and then lift. So essentially, scroll, explore by touch to find the key and then lift. If you've got it set to that, you can set the delay down to 0.15 of a second. And when you do that, when you use those particular settings, you can start typing on that much more quickly than you ever could. And it's the same as before, the same as the iPhone in that sense of when you're typing, even things like Shift key, for example, if you want to activate that, you got to double tap on it. But all the other keys, you single tap on and you can instantly insert text. It has really increased the speed of text entry, which is making it a much nicer proposition. And of course, on top of that, with 16.1, you've got a lot more customization in the keyboard and on Braille displays as well. You can customize keyboard shortcuts. So there's a lot more coming through the world of Talkback now, which is making it a much more interesting proposition.
Stephen loves Android, shocker. Okay.
I like it.
I will say, I tested this out, Stephen Scott. It's all right.
Yeah, but did you test it out, or did you go, it just feels the same way, and turn it off again, throw it out of your bed?
I tried it for 30 seconds and immediately... I tell you the problem I have with Android, every Android phone. Now, I'm using a Pixel 8, okay? The problem I always come across is entering the unlock pin. It's always clunky. You know, I'm putting my finger in, it will say, you know, let's say number 2, and I will lift my finger up. Sometimes it will do it. Sometimes it won't. It takes me about 3 attempts, always. I mean, always to log in. And I've tried it on, you know, Samsung Galaxy phones. Every time, it's always the unlocking that. And I thought, well, maybe the reduced keyboard thing will help with this. And I set it to, you know, 1.0.15. Didn't make any difference.
Yeah, I have to say, pin locks, even on the iPhone, I find very difficult. The other day, I was setting up this 17 Pro. You know, the thing is, I set this, and I deliberately set the 17 Pro up from scratch. So I didn't do any migration. I think over a period of time, your phone builds up a bunch of bad habits and bad settings that you've set and then changed or forgotten about. And so sometimes it's nice just to do a complete refresh from scratch.
Yeah.
You do, and of course now on the iPhone, have reset voiceover settings, which has saved me a few times. I actually think they've brought that in because there are issues with voiceover that you kind of need to sometimes just reset those settings, so it's a quick solution to a problem which may have been brought in by some of the new features in voiceover. But yeah, you can easily do that now, which is good. So it saves you having to reset the entire phone. But yeah, when I was setting that up, I had the same issue. Could not get the pin at all to work. It just, I don't know. I find these pin unlock things an absolute nightmare. But I'm not going to use pattern again on Android, because last time I did that, I had to call Samsung to say, I've completely locked myself out of my own phone. Help.
I've forgotten my pattern. Please help me. Yeah,
What does a house? How does a house look again? It's got a pointy roof.
I will keep trying it though, because, you know, reduced latency is always nice. So yeah, I will try it, especially on the keyboard when you're actually, you know, typing on the on-screen keyboard. That may make more of a difference. I haven't tried that yet. I still find it slightly strange. It's in the advanced settings, isn't it? Under accessibility, talkback, advanced settings. It's just like, can't you make that front and center? But
yeah, they probably don't want everyone mucking around with it too much, because it is a bit of a specialist thing. I mean, I think, you know, power users might be more interested in this than the average user. But in saying that, if you are having issues with it, or you've come from iPhone to Android and you think, it's just not the same. Well, you can, I mean, it's not going to make it exactly the same, but it isn't far off. I mean, certainly in my experience, I have to say that is a really nice phone. Just really nice. And you know,
the hardware is lovely.
Gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. I would, you know, if I wasn't into Apple as much, and I am obviously, and I'm into the whole ecosystem, but if I wasn't, I would switch to that tomorrow. In fact, so much so, I nearly, because it was funny, we were talking about this the other day, I was nearly setting up so I had my sort of work phone on that. So my work phone was going to be my Google phone, and then I'd have my personal phone as my iPhone. And the only reason I didn't was because of the phone number swapping thing. It was like, oh, hang on a minute, everyone contacts me on FaceTime. How's this going to work? And I was trying to figure that out, and then, okay, I'll need to switch over to WhatsApp, and then there was a whole issue with, it just became a bit of a, and I thought, then I've got to carry 2 phones everywhere I go. But the thing is, I really want to spend time using this phone every day. I don't want to be just using it ad hoc, because there are brilliant features in there that I really like. And it's actually really nice just to play with something new, something that feels new and fresh.
Well, that's why I was interested in the iPhone Air, just because it feels different, right? It feels new. So yeah, absolutely, I understand that. But yeah, it's getting there. Maybe you'll do it one day, Stephen Scott.
They're getting closer to drawing me in, though. I tell you, I mean, you know, I'm not saying, I know there's this whole talk right now about Apple Intelligence, and there's talk of Siri coming in 2026. It's going to get the big improvement in 2026. I'm sure we've had that every year since Siri was purchased by Apple. I mean, it's funny to think that in the early days of Siri, was it 4S? Was the first time we saw it on the iPhone 4S, and you know, it was actually better then than it is now, which is mad to think, but it's true.
It definitely seems like it. I don't know if that's sort of a placebo effect, because we're looking, I mean, Gemini is just absolutely amazing, and that had its problems when it first started out as Bard. Remember, we were sort of, why are Google getting this so wrong? But they haven't placed a foot wrong so far when it comes to Gemini. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I feel the same will happen with Siri, right? I mean, you know, think about the worst. No, I do, because look, think about the worst. So. Think about the worst day of your life, right? Or think about a really bad experience you've had in your life, and then think about today, and you think, actually, you know, maybe that bad experience, you know, over time you forgot about it, or you didn't think it was actually as bad as it was at the time, because you move on past it. So what I'm saying is that once it's good, once we like it, we'll forget how bad it was. I remember when we were getting our living room done up, right? And it was like 2 months we went through of no living room in our house. And it was the honestly horrific experience. I hated it because we pretty much lived upstairs every day, all day. And, it was like, will we ever get out of this? We're getting depressed about it. It was feeling terrible. Then it was all done and dusted. Well, we forgot all about that problem. It was, yeah. Remember that horrible feeling we had? It's all gone because we feel great now.
It is lovely.
And that'll be City will be my living room.
Your heated armchair.
It's nice, wasn't it?
Oh, that's nice. Oh, I didn't want to get out. It was like
funny.
being cuddled.
I'm trying to figure out a way of getting one of those into my office. I want one of those in my office. I want that and one of those tables.
Oh, you'd be asleep.
Well, one of those tables that come across and I can then recline. I could just sit there with my laptop. And
what you're talking about is a hospital table.
Yes,
Those ones-
the one that rolls under your chair.
Can we do the show from bed? Is what you're saying?
I'm seriously trying to work out ways to do it. I'm getting older. I want to sit in I don't want to sit in an office chair for the next 20 years. I want to sit in something comfortable, don't you?
Yes, actually, you're quite right. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Armchairs, it's the future.
Reclined, double tap reclined. That'll be the new... That'll be the new show. Right, look, let's. We'll tell you what. We're going to switch over to emails now because there's plenty of those to go around. We'll get to those, but first, let's remind you how to get in touch with the show if you would like to.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback at doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, let's get into the emails. Shall we, Shaun Preece?
Let's do it.
Email. We get email. We get your email every day.
Ding dong.
Here's your mail today.
Oh, I didn't like that at all.
What was wrong with that one?
That was terrible.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't like
How
it.
about my ding dong?
It was beautiful.
Quickly move on.
I will say, if we don't play that email jingle, I get emails. I mean, that's the irony about this. I get emails if I don't play that jingle. Sometimes I want to just dive in. I just want to dive. I just want to dive, and I
You
can't.
gotta play. No, you got to play the jingle.
Got to play the jingle.
Listeners love it.
It's become
better than
a
us.
staple of our show.
Okay. Well,
Nothing
hit
else
it,
is,
then.
but yeah, I
Dive
played it.
in. No,
Oh, I
not
see.
the jingle. I mean,
Okay, fine. Right, here's our first one.
Hi, Double Tap team. Be warned, this one will be rambly.
Oh, good.
There have been a few things I wanted to comment on, but it's always, I'll send it later, and then they just keep piling up. So, I really appreciated the recent conversations about blindness organisations and blind boards. I really respect and admire the way Double Tap does not stand for the idea of the one way to be a good blind person. It is truly refreshing. Also, it's something I've been wondering about, and sorry if this is weird to read out, Laura, but who is Laura? How did she or you get to be such an integral part of the team at Double Tap? Can we hear you or her elsewhere? What is your connection to Access Tech? Okay, another topic switch, but I just typed in youtube.com/double tap on air into my browser and it pulled up Access Tech Live on YouTube. I feel like you've mentioned that show previously, but it is one I am not familiar with. Is this an error or was your show called something else in the past? I eventually found a video I was searching for by typing in Double Tap on Air video into YouTube search. A tech question. When running Windows via Parallels on Mac, is it laggy at all? Have you worked with audio in this way or just more basic tasks? Is there anything to know before setting things up, like anything to be aware of that makes it a different experience than stock Windows? I'm considering setting this up on my MacBook Air rather than turning on my very old Windows PC just to have a play with NVDA again. Finally, congrats to At Your Fingertips for finding a new home. Love the banter, love the friendship and community, love the reel, love the show. Yana.
Oh, thank you, Yana. Really appreciate that. And lovely to hear from you. Welcome to the show.
so nice.
So many things I'm trying to hold in my head here to answer there.
Who is Laura?
Who is Laura? Well, look, stick around on that one because we are going to be... I don't want to say too much because I was kind of trying to keep it as a little bit of a secret, but, maybe I have to say something. So Laura has been around us for a very long time and been part of the Double Tap family for a very, very long time. And there is a story there. But I'm going to share that a little bit later, if you don't mind, Yana. So stick around and make sure you're subscribed to the Double Tap Extra podcast, in particular in the month of December. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Okay?
Well done.
Say on that one.
Little teaser there.
Yeah. So, yes, more info to follow on that one.
Oh.
Not fall, but follow.
Oh. And Double Tap on YouTube, I believe, isn't it? youtube.com/@DoubleTapVideo will take you
100%
directly
right.
to our channel. Is it at or hashtag? I can never remember.
I don't know
It's
why,
at.
but it's at Double Tap Video. So yeah, youtube.com/@ the @sign Double Tap Video. That will take you straight to our channel. So yes, do check it out there, Yana, and thank you for listening in. Now, what was another question? It was about
Access
parallels.
Tech Live.
Oh
and
yeah,
Parallels.
okay, right. We'll do so. Access Tech Live. Yeah, that was a show that we did. Mark Aflalo and I did that show for a couple of years, and before that, it was Double Tap TV. We did over on AMI TV, but those shows are no more. So yeah, we're available. That's why you found that, I think, because that was under the original name. I don't know why, but yeah,
Double Tap on air. Oh, okay.
it's all very confusing. Beyond me, but yeah, that's if you want to find us on YouTube, that's how it's at Double Tap Video. Now, in regards to parallels, if you want to try it out, you know what? If you're using it for, I would say, general web browsing and word processing, that kind of stuff, I think you'll be fine. I mean, depends on the Mac you've got, but if it's a fairly recent Mac with an M series chip in it, so a silicon chip in there, an M1 up to an M5, or where are we up to? M4 at the moment, I think it is on the Macs. Then you can easily install. Well, I say easily install. You will have to check out a little application for VoiceOver called VOCR. That's going to be your friend through this. Unless you've got sighted help, you're not going to be able to install Parallels entirely on your own. You'll need VOCR because basically you need something that can read the screen, and VOCR can help you do that. We'll put some links in the show notes so you can find VOCR. Because that will help you. And this is a little tiny application which sits on top of VoiceOver. It's not part of Apple, but it's something that's been created by a third party. And this is something which helps you read the screen. So it's like a screen scanner almost. And you can then navigate as well using it. A couple of basic commands you'll need to learn. But yeah, it is a really useful tool, and it does allow you to install Parallels, because otherwise you won't be able to. It's not accessible.
You get stuck. Yeah, this is a very cool little app as well, and useful elsewhere, I'm sure. I want to just pick you up on something. It's okay for web browsing. You say you couldn't do audio editing or video editing inside a virtual machine on the Mac?
My experience has been mixed. I mean, I use pretty powerful machines, and I still find with audio in particular, because the whole thing is emulated, right? It can fall apart. Sometimes the audio can be a bit choppy, doesn't always, I mean, it's certainly one issue I had was when you were trying to select a piece of audio, so like put a cursor at a particular piece of audio to edit,
Yes.
it wouldn't marry up because it was like the voice was in a tiny delay, so therefore where you were actually selecting on the waveform wasn't where you wanted it to be, so you'd have
Like
to be
using
very,
Bluetooth headset, I get that
yeah,
quite
kind of
often.
thing. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, maybe that might be an issue. Maybe I was using AirPods at the time, I don't know. But certainly at the time I found that was a bit of a challenge. So audio editing, didn't love it on there. It's possible with very small amounts of editing, but if you're talking big, long, hour-long files and stuff like that, then I'd maybe not recommend it so much. Shaun and I are still kind of trying to figure out the best way to do this. I've been playing, or actually about to start playing with an app called Twisted Wave. A good friend over at Vision Ireland was telling me about this. David Redmond was telling me about Twisted Wave, which is available across pretty much everything. It's available on Mac, Windows, iPad, even as an online app. You can do it in the browser. Don't know if that would be accessible, but you know, certainly I got in contact with the developer to say, look, have you got any documentation on this regarding using it as a blind user? And the developer came back and said, well, you know, we hear some blind people using it, but you know, beyond that, on the Mac for sure, but not so much on Windows. So, don't know was the short answer. Don't know. So,
Don't know. Thanks.
Yeah, great. Well, you can't win them all, can you?
We'll check it out. We'll see if we can figure it out.
I mean, I know everyone talks about Reaper, and we've talked about it, but to me, it's just so over the top what I need. I just need something very simple. I just want a very simple editor. And Audacity on the Mac is just not there. You know, long term with Audacity for editing, there is a challenge because they're bringing out this new version 4 of Audacity.
And it's a big change.
It's a huge change. They do mention accessibility, but until we actually get a chance to play with it, I can't even imagine. So I'm kind of preparing myself for a world where it's no longer accessible.
You know what? I want to say,
maybe that's a bit
look,
negative, but I'm looking at I'm looking at the Mac version and how that's fallen apart over the years.
Exactly my point. Yeah, I want to say, Audacity have had a great track record when it comes to accessibility, and then of course I forget. Well, the Mac version hasn't been great for years now,
For a long time.
and they never fixed it. So it's like, yeah, let's have some backup options here just in case.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope that answers some of your questions, Yana. Thank you for the message, and like I say, welcome along. Tracy has been in touch.
Hi, Stephen and Shaun. This is some obsolete tech from somewhere in the 90s, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The Parrot Electronic Diary, and not sure who made it, the Electronic Dictionary. I still have the dictionary, and it still works, I believe. I also had back in the 80s, when in high school, a laptop kind of, with a little screen above the keyboard and a printer beside the screen that printed docket-sized paper. And built-in speech was mainly for note-taking in class. Thank you for all your work. Take care. Tracy.
Thanks, Tracy. I do remember something like that at school, although the one I had, and I wish I knew what it was called, it was like a little keyboard with a little display, like a little grey or whatever it was,
Yeah,
LCD
little
display.
monochrome. Yeah, LED. Yeah.
Yeah, or LCD, I think.
LCD,
not
sorry,
even, not
yeah.
LED, goodness.
Yeah.
But it was just like 3 or 4. No way anyone could read it because it was tiny. But what you would do is you would use it for note taking, and then I would connect it via, I think, a serial cable
Wow.
into the Mac. What you had to do was you had to open up Mac, ClarisWorks at the time, back in the day, open up ClarisWorks, have it sitting with the cursor blinking, so like focused in
a document.
on the document. You'd plug this thing in and it would literally just empty all the words out onto the Claris document. And if any interruption to that cable, if the cable wiggled or if you accidentally bumped it or it fell out at any point, you lost everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great back then.
Oh, it made it more exciting, wasn't it? Thrill-seeking.
Well, it certainly it was great if you didn't like the class or you didn't want to do the homework. It was great.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Technical
miss.
issue.
Things. The dog's eating it again. Or the computer's eating it again, actually, as the case was. Yeah, hilarious.
I've heard of Parrot as a make. Is that? I seem
Yeah.
to remember those sort of talking dictionaries as like almost like calculator size.
That's
with a
right.
little
I've got one
cover
upstairs in
over
my
the top.
loft, actually. Yeah, I've got one. Still got one.
Dig it out.
I'm trying to
Maybe
remember the
worth
name
a
of it, though. It
fortune.
wasn't Parrot. It was something else, and the name is... I want to say Frankenstein, but it's not Frankenstein.
Okay.
Something like that. It was something like... I'm sure it was something like Frankenstein. That's absolutely right.
Yeah. There's no way to check.
No
That's
way to
correct.
know.
Yeah.
It started with an F.
Go up to your attic and find out for next
Okay,
week.
all right. I'll for,
Right.
for next
Thank you.
year, I promise you I'll do that. Yeah, thanks for that, Tracy. This hang on a sec. The accessibility crypt. Ooh, ha ha ha.
Oh, was that? Well, that was okay. Thank you.
It's still open.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep sending in
apparently
your
so.
obsolete tech. Tell us what you want in the crypt. We'll add those in. We'll add those ones in. So I'm taking notes here, by the way.
Yes, on the old grayscale note taker.
Oh, good. So they're lost
you.
then, are they? Couldn't find that serial cable, so they're gone forever. Okay, thank you, Tracy.
Hey guys, in response to your comments about the Gmail web interface, I still find it's herky-jerky with JAWS and NVDA, though it's much better than other email web interfaces I've used. Outlook is hopeless.
Oh,
I use the Brave browser most of the time for Gmail. Perhaps I don't know enough of the right key commands to make Gmail easier, but it is much more difficult than a year or so ago when Gmail changed their interface. The old HTML view was wonderful. Granted, one of its flaws was that you couldn't delete trash emails all at once, but to me, that was a small inconvenience. Composing emails is harder with the current version of Gmail, especially when I write an email to somebody who isn't currently in my contacts list. Okay, I could go on, but I'll show mercy. Take care and keep up the good work. John in Missouri.
thanks, John. Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of feeling your pain a little bit on this one because after our excitement about the who knew moment of this is actually pretty accessible and this is kind of nice, then you start using it every day and then you start to find the challenges. And I am starting to find a few.
Such as?
Well, I think that compose thing. So I think if I remember rightly, you hit C for compose, but you can then hit D and that will open up the compose window in a new window or tab. which is actually preferable to me because then I can just go between the actual inbox and the compose window.
Just to clarify, so if you want to send an email to someone, if you just hit C, it opens it in a different frame on the same page?
So it stays on the same page. So the only way you can get out of it is they say hit the escape key, but that never works for me. So what I do is I use Alt and left arrow, and that takes me back. So it's just like going back a page, really, but it's taking you back to the window view. But yeah, you can also have it where it opens up in a new window or tab, so that little frame pops up into its own little window. You can do the same with reply as well. There's different ways to do it. I think it's just hold down the Shift key in R as opposed to just hitting R, that kind of thing. Forward the same. But I'm just fine. I mean, I also tried Google Calendar the other day thinking, this will be just the same. No, it wasn't. And so I'm still trying to figure that. Actually, to the point where, that way I just slammed the laptop lid down. I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore. I had like 40 minutes of trying to figure this out.
I'll come back to it. Yeah,
I just thought I'm not going to learn this tonight because I'm too angry now,
Well, again, like I said when we discussed this the first time, right? The thing with learning a screen reader is that you get to know those keyboard shortcuts, and it doesn't matter what website you're on. You're hitting H to jump to the next heading, X for the... I don't know. So I say that it may be different on different screen readers, but you get the general idea, B for button or whatever it may be. Now, if we rely on the website accessibility shortcut keys, they're going to be totally different almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't used enough of them to know, but they just are. They're going to be different. It's almost like you got to learn a whole new set of commands for each website that you're using. But still, it does seem like that's the way we're going, right?
Yeah, it does. And I mean, even the calendar has different... it has different kind of layouts and things, and trying to work out how to navigate all this stuff, and there's a lot you have to learn, and it's not that you can just jump in. Like I love when people say to me, sighted people say this to me. They say, it's just so easy. Google Calendar's great. You just go in, it's all there. And I'm like, yeah. How can I explain this to you in a way you'll understand? It's nothing like that for me. This is a whole new world I've got to go and figure out.
I'm just pressing keys and keys and keys. I think one thing they need to do is make that list of keyboard shortcuts a lot easier to navigate, a lot more accessible.
Yeah.
Well, it's the question mark, right? Shift, what is it, / key, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. You do the question mark keyboard shortcut, and it brings up a little dialog box with a list, a table usually, of all the keyboard shortcut commands. It's not the easiest thing to navigate, and it's not the easiest thing just to get a quick reference to. Sometimes you just got to listen to an entire, vomit out a list of keyboard shortcuts to hear the one you want. And of course, there's so many that are in there. I just think they need to make that more accessible. I know there is an option, open full screen, and it does make it a little bit easier, but still, it's not as accessible as I think it should be.
Well, I mean, again, it's that usability thing, right? Versus accessibility. It may not be fully accessible, and I don't think it is unusable at all. I just think the problem is that it's the way these things are sold out to us in terms of instructions. Google are very good, and they do this regularly. They'll do like a what's new in accessibility video every month or so. And it's a great video because it just gives you a bit of an overview of new things that are in there, new features. It's usually a headline feature per category, whether it be Gmail or Docs or Workspace or whatever. And they'll talk about Android, they'll talk about Talkback, they'll talk about multiple disability accessibility tools. Brilliant. I kind of wish they would do that with these instructions. I wish they could just sit down and go through, like, talk me through this. And the way that a trainer would, just sit down and talk me through, okay, so we're going to create a new event, or we're going to navigate the calendar, and here's how you do it, and actually hear the response so that I can actually get that. Because that's the bit that I need. I just really need someone to explain it. Now, what tends to happen is if you get those resources, they tend to be from the point of view of a particular screen reader. So you might get JAWS, Vespero might produce these videos, which are very good, by the way. But some people might not go there because they'll think, well, I'm an NVDA user, I wouldn't use that. Not realizing that actually this has got nothing to do with JAWS. The options that exist, there will be things in there, of course, pertinent to JAWS, but actually using that website, using Gmail, for example, is completely irrelevant on which screen reader you're using. On Windows, at least. I mean, Mac might be different. Again, I haven't really dived in. I've not tried it on the Mac yet, actually. I'm terrified to try it.
Though.
So many things.
It's difficult. Right, because it's just, there is a learning curve to it. You do just have to put the time in.
You really do. You really do.
Okay.
And then I tried to connect it to Outlook, and that didn't work.
Yeah, forget that. I can't get that to work either.
Anyway, Sean's here with more thoughts, not you, another Sean, on this topic.
Hello, folks. Shaun from Flushing, Queens here. I was listening to a discussion around Gmail and trying to access it using the web interface. Keep in mind that the shortcuts that Gmail has put in place for folks that are not using a screen reader is like the up and down arrow keys and already being used by the system to scroll the window that the mail is in. So it would be difficult or actually impossible to reap them to scroll through the messages. At the end of the day, the shortcuts are not for us. Although they help us, they offer for power users of sighted folks who are using the website in a traditional fashion. This made it so Google had to use different keystrokes in order to maneuver through the message list, select mail, etc., etc. I hope this helps you to understand why this happens. Have a great day, Shaun.
Yeah, I think that's the key point, right? These keyboard commands aren't built for screen reader users, although they are actually under the screen reader user.
Sorry, I'm confused.
What?
Aren't they? I up and down arrow through the list.
Yes.
Yes. Isn't that the point?
No, but I think the point that he's making there is that these things are not necessarily built for us. I mean, anyone can use them, right? That's the whole point. You don't have to be using a screen reader. Although I will say this, it's under screen reader, isn't it, that you actually choose to turn on the keyboard. Oh, no, hang on. No, I'm talking rubbish. It's this keyboard shortcuts option, isn't it? The keyboard shortcuts option you go into, that's what brings up the keyboard shortcuts.
Accessibility keyboard shortcuts is, you need to enable that to use these.
Yeah,
so,
which doesn't mean for screen readers necessarily. Of course, it can
but
be used
accessibility means that it's used for assistive technology rather than for mainstream. I would argue.
Don't know about that one.
Okay.
I mean, that depends on your view on accessibility. I think it's, they'll see it. I think Google would see it in a much more broad sense than we might.
Yeah. Okay. I know I'm confused by that. And honestly, the up and down arrow does usually, I mean, depending on what let's say, cursor you're on as a screen reader user, or what mode you're in, browse mode, focus mode, read mode, whatever it may be. Up and down arrow would scroll through the website. But usually, especially when you get to, online apps, the website apps, if you get into an area which has a list, then that does change. That does... The up and down arrow does move into navigating through the elements inside that Java app or whatever it may be. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But hey, I haven't dived into this enough. Stephen, you've used it more than I have so far.
I mean, I'm enjoying using Gmail. I think that's great. I'm enjoying that. I think that, the trying to reply to a message is difficult because in the JAWS video that I watched, I think it was Elizabeth Whittaker from Vespero who presented on this. And forgive me if Elizabeth is not from Vespero. I was a bit confused as to who was from where, to be honest, in that video. But Elizabeth Whittaker was doing the demo, and it was brilliant. It was really, really good. And that's what drove me into trying this out in the first place. It's really good. I think that video was under the American Printing House for the Blind. It might have been an event in collaboration with.
Right.
So, definitely worth checking that out on YouTube. But the thing was that, it was a bit clearer using JAWS as to which mode you were in, because you use insert Z or whatever your JAWS modifier key is, and Z, and then that would turn off your virtual browse mode. And then you could use the keys. And so it was very clear. With NVDA, I'm still not quite sure which mode I'm in. And what I've noticed with NVDA is that when you go into Gmail, it automatically goes into the right mode, whatever that one is, for Gmail. So when you arrive in Gmail, you'll be able to instantly arrow up and down. You give it a second or two, I've noticed, but give it a second or two, you'll either hear a beep or a boop or a blah or something, and then whatever it does, it figures out its life, and then you can just arrow up and down and use those keyboard commands if they're enabled. Okay, so they have to be enabled. They're not enabled by default, so you have to make sure they're turned on. Yeah,
if it's enabled, if you're in this mode, and
if the moon is in line with Venus on a Tuesday, and there's a man with a pointy hat staring at the sun, there's a chance it'll work great.
Do you know what? It's so funny. Emails are still like...
Why is it so difficult?
So complicated.
I tried to set up a calendar invite yesterday. It took me like an hour to not send it.
That's why I don't use them, Stephen Scott. It's a form of protest. It's not that I'm lazy. It's just that I'm making a change, fighting the power.
I was literally almost back on my Mac last night. Like, I'm so sorry, MacBook. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
Take me back, please.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I haven't tried it on the Mac yet. I'm terrified to try it in case it's either
It might be exactly
so
the same.
bad or it's really good. I don't know. We'll need to play. Okay, now we talked about Outlook and trying to connect Gmail to Outlook. Well, Peter
Yes.
might have a solution for us on this one.
Please.
Hi, Shaun. I face the same problem with Outlook as you. The key is in the settings. Require secure password authentication, SPA, for logon must be checked. By default, it is not. When you are on the panel of setting the name of IMAP and SMTP servers, you will find this checkbox by tabbing. I hope I'm giving you the right translation. I use Microsoft Outlook in Hungarian, but I think you will find it anyway. Good luck. Peter from Budapest.
Thank you, Peter. You know what? I don't think language is the issue here. I just think it's fun understanding all these settings.
It's it's my capabilities that's the issue, I think.
It's not
no.
though. It's not though. It's just it is.
Thank
This
you.
is challenging.
No, stop it.
It is.
It is, and thank you. Look, I just don't understand why it shouldn't be. What type of account are you using? Gmail. Why have I got to enter the IMAP and SMTP server options and set up the secure password protocol or whatever it is? It just seems like this should be standard stuff. They should know this already. But thank you. I believe I did try that because obviously you need to enter your login details to log into the account. So I believe I did tick the SPA, I think it said. But I will double check that. So thank you.
Is that not sun cream?
That's SPF. I believe.
Right.
Some
Sorry,
protection factor.
Well, I think I needed that last night because the heat that was building up around me was intense. I think I needed some sunscreen factor just to deal with Google Calendar. Okay, let's move on to Joel, who wants to tell us a story about the Oakley glasses, I think, or Meta glasses.
Hi, Laura, Shaun, and Stephen. I thought I'd mix up the order. You're all three equally wonderful.
Oh,
I received my Meta Oakley Vanguard glasses this morning and was as giddy as a little boy at Christmas. That is, until I figured out how to get the various packaging opened and tried them on. My wife was there and I could hear her trying not to laugh. They're huge. They look like welding glasses. When my son got home, he was a bit more diplomatic. They look high-tech. They're probably okay for a blind person.
Oh.
I interpreted that as if they're part of the whole blind uniform thing, people will understand. In other words, you'll probably want to make sure people can see your cane when you're wearing the glasses.
Oh dear.
Let's rekindle that debate. It's kind of a moot point, though. From the moment I put them on, I thought something had a death grip on my head. So they look obviously large, but they seem to be sized for a smaller head. Or maybe they're supposed to be that type for the super athletic demographic. Regardless, I expected to have a splitting headache within the hour. It turned out not to be that bad. It took about an hour to get the Meta app installed and the glasses configured. When I went to add a device, Oakley wasn't an option. I added them as Ray-Ban glasses. It worked, but was a bit surprising the Meta AI app hasn't been updated yet. Also, on several pages, I had to scrub around to find the accept or continue buttons. The Meta AI app is kludgy. I got it all going. Speakers are okay enough for podcasts. They are loud enough for sure. I've connected phone, messages, WhatsApp, and Spotify. I call someone and sure enough, the audio goes through the phone, not the glasses. I try a WhatsApp video call and again, audio is through the phone and the person cannot see my video. I send a text message to a contact's mobile phone and she replies. Meta tells me the message came in and I say, read it. Meta reads it and I reply and send the message. Later on my phone, I tell Siri to read new messages and hear the message I had replied to as an unlistened to message. I'm curious if bugs like audio routing are due to iOS APIs and Apple's insular arrogance and hostile position towards developers, or if Meta is just releasing buggy software. Probably both, but I'm always in the kicking Apple mood. I have a Pixel 8 sitting within arm's distance of me, probably with a dead battery. Maybe I should try Meta AI on the Pixel, but I've really learned to love Big Brother, so if you stay in the ecosystem, Apple stuff can be great. Side note, I know people at Apple, and they're great and really try. I believe it's a leadership problem. I also have friends at Google I like very much. I live biking distance from both headquarters. Ultimately, when it felt so great to take the glasses off, like someone loosened the vice grip just behind my ears, I decided these are not going to work, even if the software was perfect. I had, though, already decided, with all the bugginess along the way, I was going to return them. My suspicion, considering how well the voicemail app works on iOS when using VoiceOver, the audio routing is probably Apple's fault. Sure, Android has its share of bugginess and Google has its frustrating policies and obnoxious Googlers. If I'm going to keep whining about Apple, though, I should probably try harder to switch to Android. Now I'm excited to get the Echo Vision glasses. I did pre-order, but passed on trying to get into the beta. It sounds like the updated Echo Vision glasses with better battery will be out early next year. Cheers, Joel.
Thank you, Joel. Interesting thoughts there on the Oakley Vanguards. Haven't had a chance to try them on yet. Kind of nervous if they're built for smaller heads, because that is not something I have, Shaun Preece. I have a big ball head. And that was my mother who told me that. Thank you, Mother.
Mothers always tell the truth. You know that. Yeah, that's a real shame. Now, I have heard that they are quite large, as in, the actual design of them, which is kind of surprising. But the tight fit, I understand, because these are for athletes, right? When you're hurtling downhill. So I kind of understand that. Audio routing, I'm hearing lots of people having this problem. I don't know the answer to that, but we'll look into that and see if we can find a fix.
Not the Ray-Ban Gen 2s, loving them, no issues at all. Battery life is amazing, honestly. I was out yesterday on a call for about 20 minutes, came off the call, I was at 98% battery. Life is good on the Gen 2 Ray-Bans. That's it from us today, we need to go, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Got you out there, didn't I?